they can't even grasp the fact that you've grown and you've evolved and you've become this person that they don't know. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie. As always, I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome back to another chit-chatty video. Today is Friday, which on Fridays I do not film content, so this is a bit out of place for me, but I had some things in mind that I wanted to talk about, and also I'm not doing much right now. I was just kind of chilling around. I went outside for a walk, got myself some good coffee, and I feel like I was just filling up my day with just like tasks and things to do, so I was like, okay, I might as well just film because there's a lot on my mind that I want to talk about with you guys, so I might as well. I don't usually do this on Fridays, but might as well just film ahead. I will now be posting 2 videos a week, so midweek I will be doing more of these chit-chatting videos with you guys here in my little corner, and then on the weekend, on Saturdays, how I usually post is going to be more beauty and lifestyle vlog videos. So just to give you the breakdown on that, that's kind of like my new upload schedule. So you're going to be getting, you know, the different niches and perspectives that I have and more content for you guys, which is amazing. In today's video, I wanted to go over this feeling of not being seen, not being heard, not being understood, how it has its challenges where I'm at that place, especially when it comes to your family. So let's begin. To be loved is to be known, I believe the quote is, or to be loved is to be seen. And it comes from this idea or this fact that when people see you for who you truly are, or people recognize the things that you enjoy, the things that you like, it's those small details that makes you know a person. So you feel known and you feel seen and you feel validated and you feel heard when somebody approaches you and brings you the things that you love, has considered you in their decisions, has given you little gifts, you know, different love languages. They've shown up for you and you feel seen. Now, that is such a good feeling to have. It's a desire. But I think that it doesn't come easy at all when people don't know you, people don't really know who you are. And I'm going to talk about this from the perspective of family specifically, because family is one area that you might have family members that know you, that truly adore you and love you, and they know you from top to bottom, and they know what's going to make you feel good, and they know you to a T, and that is such a blessing. On the other hand, there are family members that don't know anything about you. They just know this idea of you, and it really comes from when you're young. There are family members who know this idea of you based on how you were when you were a child, when you were a teenager maybe, or maybe just like childhood and then teenage years, they didn't really get to know you. So they base off who you are today using that information of when you were a child. And they kind of visualize you in this way of being a child, being their sibling, being their cousin, their niece, their nephew. And you really don't get a chance to grow out of that because they have already established this picture of you, of who you are, and not of who you could be, or of you being your own person with their own thoughts, with their own opinions, with their own stances. That kind of trips them up a bit. I've seen it in my own world. I've been in this environment for a while where it's like, I've recognized that I don't feel known. I feel very misunderstood. I don't feel seen. I feel like these people don't know me, don't know my life experiences. And could it be from me not sharing my life experiences fully with them? Maybe. But also, it's my life to live and it's kind of like my own experience. But also, I think you as a parent or you as a family member in general, it's kind of your responsibility and your job to get to know the person that you have raised throughout the years. I don't think that just because your son or your daughter has become a teenager and they're growing up, or they've gone to college, or now they're, you know, into their young adult years, that doesn't mean that you have to stop getting to know them. People evolve when people change and people grow. And you really have to adapt to know, okay, who is my child today, in today's world? You know, what are their thoughts? What are their opinions? What are their stances? What are they doing with their lives that maybe they're not sharing with me in their career, in their friendship maybe? You know, of course, I don't think it's healthy, especially for parents or your family, to fully know you because it's your life and they're only a small part of your life. They're just your family, and I think your life should be filled with your own experiences, your own interests, your own friendships, your own adventures. So I don't think that they will fully grasp who you are in that sense, but effort in knowing you is a completely different thing. I've seen it firsthand where it's like, you really aren't making the effort to get to know me. So then when I sit down with you and when I share my perspective, when I share my thoughts on things, when I disagree with you, it takes you by surprise. And it takes you as if like, excuse me? Like, you're not supposed to think that way, or like, why are you thinking that way? And it's because they have this idea of you, of who you were when you were younger, or they can't even grasp the fact that you've grown and you've evolved and you've become this person that they don't know, which is crazy to me. I think that the sense of this whole video is just about that, not fully being known. And there are many times where I'm around my family members and I'm like, I don't fit in here. It's because you don't know me internally. We share different perspectives on different things, and this is where a disconnect could come in. Was this feeling, one, of disconnect from your environment because of the fact that you don't feel known in it? And the second point is when you are seen for who you are today, but it's not accepted. It's a total like, what? It takes them by surprise. And they're like, who are you? Like, I don't even know you. I had this idea of you and who you would be in my mind, but it's not matching up. Who did I raise? Like, who is this person speaking to me? But I think that that is a good thing because it makes you feel like your own person, especially going back to if you feel disconnected from your environment or your family. I could say that ever since I was very young, I looked at my environment and I questioned things a lot. I questioned, why are you this way? Why do you think this way? Why do you behave this way? And why are you so stuck in your ways? Like, it was always the same pattern, and I recognized it. I saw that they never changed it. And it's not that I was judgmental, it's just that I was really observant, and I'm like, you're very stuck in your ways. And when someone approaches you to try to teach you something, or for you to try to be different and try to adapt, you don't want to accept it. So I saw that, and myself, I decided like I was going to be different. I looked at my surroundings and I was like, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to think this way. I don't want to act the way that you do. I don't want to think about this subject matter the way that you do. Absolutely not. And the disconnect I've learned throughout the years, it has made me frustrated, and it has made me kind of like resent a lot. I've had a lot of resentment, but I've narrowed it down to several things that could be understood, and maybe you're in this position as well, is that it could come with differences in terms of generation. My family's generations are all very different, and we have very different thought process, and it comes from our reality and the world that we live in. We know the world that we live in very well, and the world that existed 30-40 years ago is not the same as it is today. And fortunately for me, I know well enough the world that I live in. I see it and I come across it every single day. I know the struggles behind it. I know what's working. I know what's growing. Pattern recognition. So I know how the world works right now for me. And the advice that somebody else might be giving you from a past generation or a different culture could maybe not apply to you, or not at all, because there is that disconnect. And it's totally okay to have that disconnect, because you are your own person, you are your own way, and they are their own way and their own person. Differences in terms of culture. If you're a child of immigrants, your immigrant family members have come up and grown up differently than you have, and that has been instilled in them. Being maybe in a new different country, especially America, you've grown up with more knowledge and more understanding and more empathy to do things differently, and that's completely something that I relate to. Culture here is very different from culture from where my parents are from, and it's not that like you're babied or like you need to toughen up, but you're just more knowledgeable up here to understand the effects of things. I take things now with a grain of salt because there is that very drastic difference. So it could be generationally, it could be culturally, it could be in terms of mindset and ways of thinking. They might approach things differently than you do. You might have, sorry to say it, you might have more information. You might have gotten access to more information about a subject matter, and that makes you know more. That's okay. You know more about the subject matter. You know more. You're more knowledgeable. You have more experiences. You've done more things in past generations or other family members have done compared to you. And that's okay, because again, you are your own person. You have gotten your own opportunities. You have walked your own way of life. And that creates a disconnect. And it's hard. It's hard to sit down and talk with someone about something, but they haven't gotten the same experiences as you. And that's okay, because they had a chance to live their own life and do things their own way, and you have it differently. Doesn't mean that one or the other has it better. It's just a drastic difference. And that might be the reason why you feel misunderstood, unseen, unheard. You feel invisible. You feel very small. And I have felt all of those things in my life in different time periods. Very rarely do I feel like heard and seen and validated. It does come up, but truly, ever since I was very young, like I can tell you that I've looked at my surroundings and I'm like, I don't really quite fit in here. Be for those reasons that I have listed. When you really think about it, it's like you can try your best to want that validation, to want to be seen, to want to be heard in this environment that you're in. Especially, again, I highlight this more if you're going through it with your family or if you're a child of immigrants. That's a lot harder itself. And I completely understand and I know your circumstance of why you feel so small with the people around you. And unfortunately, it might be from people that you're related to. And that sucks, because it's like a sense of family feels like, oh, I belong here. Like, I know I'm included. I know I feel seen. I know I can relate to these people. But some people don't have that in their life. Some people really feel like the outcast. Some people feel like the black sheep. And I would love to make another future video on this, feeling like the black sheep. But it does have the similar toned patterns and topics of what I'm talking about, of having that drastic difference. And again, feeling like this isn't the place where I feel known. So when it does come to the place of you wanting to feel known, wanting to feel heard, wanting to feel understood, there are those chances in your own life that you can give yourself to be known. And I think one of those things is putting yourself out there, making friendships with people who you have similar interests with. Maybe you're closer in age. Maybe they understand your life experiences and the hardships that you've gone through, and they're willing to listen. I think being around people who actively listen to you, to your point of view, even if you might talk slower, even if you might think things through, is very important to have. People who validate your emotions and your experiences, very important, especially if you come from a family of immigrants and they're very emotionally unavailable. That could be a factor, again, into why you feel very small, misunderstood, not seen, not heard, etc. You want to be around people who validate you, who know that it's like, oh, okay, that's your life, that's your experience, that's totally okay. And I think being a child of immigrants, it's like, how could you possibly feel that way when I gave you everything and I supplied everything? And it's like, but you weren't really there enough to sustain me where I needed. Another topic, another video I could get into. And I think, being around those environments, even if it's like going to a concert, going to an event, going here, going there, or even online, I think social media really does have its strong suits. Truly, I know people can say like social media is like the worst thing for society, and I understand that, but social media helps so much. Like, I have met so many extraordinary people who are my, like online friends, where I've met them in person, and it's crazy how the years have gone by and we've stood in touch. I think social media is another factor where you can really connect with people. Give yourself that opportunity to be seen, post content on social media, post things that really interest you, and find your community. I can give you one example where it's like I've connected with people over things on mental health, on spirituality, on the love of sports, on all the things that make me me, and the walk of life that I've gone through. I feel so seen. I feel the best when people can understand me and see me for who I really am, and not see me for a place and a position in their life. Sometimes I struggle with the fact that you only see me for me being your daughter or me being your sister, and that's like the only position in life, and I'm much more than that. I'm my own person. And I think as the years have gone by and as I've grown, it's like the disconnect becomes more and more prevalent. And I'm like, I need out of here. I need to be in a environment where I can fully just feel free. I love the days where I feel free and I feel myself and I feel autonomy, and it just makes me feel so good and so free and so validated, instead of me being in an environment where I feel very small and I feel very misunderstood, and I can't really vocalize my thoughts and my feelings as well as I could, because I know people aren't gonna get it, and that's a very hard, tough, frustrating feeling. And if you're feeling that same way, I completely understand where you come from, because it freaking sucks. And am I fully at the place where I can fully surround myself with people, you know, in a drastic change of an environment? Not yet. I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm building towards that place. So if you are also building towards that place where it's like, I want out, you know, I want to move out, I want to be in a different environment, like I know that this space is not for me, I know these people are not for me, I know I fully cannot be myself here, then I understand. I get it. Trust that life is going to take you to a place where you are going to be able to feel free. Believe me, because I don't think it's healthy for you to stay in a place, whether it's beyond your control or not, to feel small. It's not good for anyone. And another note that I wanted to touch on before I end this video, my copy, is another thing that might create a disconnect is a language barrier. So this is something that I can relate to. As a child of immigrants, I grew up speaking Spanish at home. I would speak Spanish at home and I would speak English in my everyday life, in school, with my friends, and then I would come home and I would speak Spanish. So as the years have gone by and as I've grown as an individual, especially learning about myself, learning about the world, learning about mental health and spirituality and things like that, I've grown with a lot more depth. And when I've explained things that I'm interested in or that I've learned about any of the topics that I just mentioned, it's not the same for me anymore. I think before, you know, I would speak in Spanish and I would feel a lot more comfortable with it, but I think when it comes to those deeper topics and those deeper understandings, going from English to Spanish just doesn't feel right. And when I speak in Spanish, I feel stuck and I can't find the words, or I have to dimmer down my topic that I'm talking about into a very like small ball that somebody else can understand. Break things down to be very small and very digestible for them, because they fortunately don't know the language very much, or they don't really know the culture or the environment or the generation or the perspective that you're coming from. So then I feel like it gets lost in translation, and I feel like what I mean to say doesn't come across as what I say. And that's another thing that makes me feel small and makes me feel like, oh, no, I would love to express to you how I'm really thinking about these things in my head, but it's not really coming across. So I validate you 100% if you go through that experience as well. And I think that's all that I want to talk about on this topic. I had to get it off my chest. I had to break it down for you guys, because this is something that I've come across and I've took patterns and notes on. I think that this really bothered me at first because I didn't know how to interpret it. I'm like, I know I feel all of these things. I know I've experienced feeling like small, misunderstood, not seen, not heard, but why? Why do I feel that way? And it's come after many years of self-reflection, many years of observation, and many years of therapy and of self-learning, of me, myself, looking up the information to get to the bottom of why I feel this way. And it's all the reasons that I listed, and I will list them again in the description if you ever want to come back to this video, or if you just like want to take notes and have it with you. That way you don't have to go through it yourself. You can just take this wisdom from me that's going to be able to help you. And just know that if you are a child of immigrants, I totally see you, I hear you. I feel like as child of immigrants, we relate to each other on a lot of things, and one of the biggest aspects is we feel small, is we feel misunderstood, is we feel like we fully can't be ourselves around our family members. So I validate you on that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, for chatting with me. I'm very happy that I made this video, and if there are more videos that you would like to hear from me, please let me know in the comments. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and please make sure to comment. I will see you in the next one. Much love.